Welcome back, everybody, to Eff Dat Job, the place to air out your workplace grievances, the show about shitty jobs, the people who hate them, and the people who escape them. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Chad.
I'm Rashawn P.
And welcome to today's episode. Today's episode is all about the first time you ever said Eff that job. And what we mean by that is the first time you was ever in any situation where you're getting paid for something and you decide to yourself,
It wasn't for you no more. Like,
this
you
ain't
had to
worth
get up
it.
out of there.
This
Yeah.
ain't worth it. I'm not trying to do this no more.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm pretty sure we got a lot of people out there who have said that way more times than they wish to admit. I know personally I have.
I have a lot of stories. I done worked a lot of jobs, and I got a lot of stories where I'm just like, man, I was ready to walk out mid-shift. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have too. So, we definitely looking forward to hearing y'all stories. Today we got a special story. But, before we get into that, you want to tell a story about the first time you said F that job?
Yeah, man. I the first time I ever said F that job, it it honestly was you would think that it would be on like your first job you ever worked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I had worked a few different jobs, but this was the first job that I ever worked in Rochester, in the city of Rochester, New York, where we shooting this right now, right? I had moved back from Pennsylvania. I went to college in Pennsylvania. I moved back to Rochester and was just looking for anything. And the first job that I was able to get was working security for a security company around Rochester.
I've been in that security realm. So
probably
yeah.
the same company. I mean, one thing, so caveat, one thing that we're not gonna do on the show, we're gonna try to stay away from using the names of people and places and companies that we work for.
Right. Even though it's FM, we're gonna just try not to.
We're gonna let y'all fill in the blanks if y'all know the blanks. All right. But anyway, so I'm working for the security company, and it's downtown Rochester. It's in one of those big buildings downtown. One of those. I don't want to call it a skyscraper because it's Rochester.
It's definitely not a skyscraper.
But one of the bigger buildings downtown. It's one of to clue in the people who know, it's a building that used to house a school. All right, so
right.
you can figure that out if you want to.
Gotcha.
All right, so the way the building was set up, there was a tower, and then there was like the rest of the building that way back in the day used to be a mall. So there's like an escalator and all that stuff. But I worked security. I worked the night shift, the overnight shift, and it was my job. I had to go around. We had like these little iPad things, and you had to go around, and they had like barcodes all over the building. So you got to go around and do your rounds throughout the night. Click on the thing, boop, 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 whatever. Go through the building. Make sure that you've been where you're supposed to go. So I usually would take the elevator all the way to the top floor. I think it was 14 floors, 15 floors, something like that. Take it all the way to the top floor, and then I just walk my way down and like hit all my spots. So this night, I take the elevator all the way up to the top floor, and it's like the whole building is basically dead. It's empty. It's downtown Rochester. Ain't nothing really there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at that point, the building was basically empty. It was like I think the office that I was walking past, and I walked past this. I had been working there for like almost a year. And I walk past this door, the door is always closed. They're not doing no construction up there. The windows up that high don't really open because, it's a skyscraper, the windows don't really open. So I'm walking down the hall and I see that the door is open. I'm like, that's strange. So I get closer and I'm about to peek in, and right when I get about 5-10 feet away from the door slams shut.
Yeah, I'm up out of there.
So I was like,
I'm up out of here.
So part of me was like, yeah, let me go see what's happening. And then logic started running through my head. And I'm like, yo, either somebody's in there and they slam the door, or something is in there and they slam the door, Or, oh no, maybe the wind blew it shut, but the windows don't open up there. You're on like the 15th floor. So I'm like, all right, bet. I had just started my rounds. This is the first floor that I'm working. I walked my ass all the way down the stairs because I wasn't about to hop in the elevator. Some creepy stuff like that done happen. I'm not about to risk getting on the, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to get
put that in that type of situation, like one of the movies, and you know what I mean, the black guy always died first, so you was absolutely gonna die in that situation.
it was gonna be, honestly, this is half Eff Dat Job story and half a ghost story. So in my mind, it was like, if I try to get on the elevator, I'm gonna be sitting there pressing a button, turn around, the elevator doors open, and the elevator ain't there, I'm gonna fall down the shaft.
Right.
So I was like, I walked all the way back down to the office, and it's two of us working at night. It was this girl, and I asked her, and I get in there, and she asked me, she's like, you done already? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. She was like, you did the whole rounds? I'm like, nah. She's like, what happened? So I told her, and she was like, well, you gotta go finish your rounds. And I'm like, no, I don't. She was like, but this is our job. And that was when it hit me. I was just like, man, fuck this job. I'm not about to, a ghost. Like, they don't pay me to hunt ghosts. I'm not Dan Aykroyd. This ain't the Ghostbusters. I ain't got no plasma shooter or whatever they had. Nah, I'm not doing that. So that was the first time, like, that they said Eff that job. The second time, maybe a couple weeks later, my grandfather had been in like hospice care in a nursing home. So I'm working overnight. I get a call from my uncle, and he hit me. He was basically like, my grandfather died. So I'm like, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm going to the nursing home with family. Everybody's at the nursing home. So I'm working with the same girl. I'm like, yo, I need to leave. My grandfather just passed. Everybody's going to the nursing home, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, okay, all right, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, bet. I leave. That was a Friday. I worked Monday to Friday. Came back on Monday, supervisor, he works the morning shift, but he's there right before my night shift with a write-up form. He's like, you need to sign this. I'm like, why? He's like, because you left your shift. I was like, my grandfather died. He's like, yeah, but you could have called and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my grandfather died. He's like, well, you can sign it or you cannot sign it. I was like, I'm not signing it.
I'm going to not sign it, dog. Like, you didn't hear what I said?
My grandfather died. He's like, well, you can sign it or you cannot sign it. I'm not signing it. Fuck this job. So those are the two times, almost back to back, that it happened to me where I had to say fuck that job for the first time.
Yo, it's crazy because I know a lot of people are been in those type of scenarios where like, yo, the workplace is like, they're so like inconsiderate of your feelings or even knowing that like, not even just your feelings, like fuck your feelings, but it's more like they're not even considerate of the fact like you have an actual life, like you got real things going on in your life, and all they care about, especially those jobs, the contract security job. Yeah. Like I've been in that realm.
Because it's a low paying job, high turnover rate. They just need bodies. Right. They don't care if you actually. All they care about is
like these hours getting billed. We got to fill this spot right here. Somebody got to do it. Somebody go around, hit these checkpoints. That's the only thing they really care about. So. And they don't really see you as like human beings, and it really is a shitty type of job,
And that's the one thing that I will say. A lot of people nowadays will shit on the younger generation, what they call it, Generation Z, because or what is we, generation? I don't know. We millennials, but the generation under us, the younger ones. A lot of people will shit on them, but they the ones that really be like, yo, my mental health is way more important than this job, right. Yo. They the ones that really kind of put that energy out there. Like, at least that I've seen, because I know a lot of people our age who would have just been like, oh, man, I need this job. Right.
I've done it.
But I see a lot of young people that just like, fuck it, somebody hiring. Like, I'll leave this right now. Somebody else is hiring. So, yeah, man. So, but those was the first two times for me. And there's been many times after that. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few more times until I glow up into that position where I want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? But... at this point in the show, we want to get ready to bring in a caller who's going to give us a lot of stories about him saying Eff that job. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one because what we want to do is like use different work sectors, different workplace sectors. So like something like dealing with retail. Something dealing with healthcare, something dealing with like the education system, so whatever it is. So, but this one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be crazy. So,
all right. So we're gonna get to the call and we'll be right back with y'all. so we back. We got our first guest, or our guest for this week. Known him a long time. Known him since we was both little. You know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't never really been little, but he used to be shorter than me. When I first met him, he was shorter than me. About 3 months later, he came back. He was like 6 inches taller than me. But
Awesome.
but welcome to the show, Quentin James, owner of High Quality People, the studio, the fashion label. Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah.
What I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, so go ahead and just give us the first time, or give us a couple times where you was working a job and you just got fed up and was just like, yo, man, fuck this job.
And the first time probably was my first job. Well, I'm going to tell you about my first job. So my first job I was working at, I can't say the name, but this hospital. So I'm working at this hospital, and I'm doing dietary, cleaning up the kitchen, taking patients their food and shit.
Yeah.
So this manager got the nerve to disrespect me. He's like, oh, I got to clean up the garbage and spray the water, spray the garbage down. So I spray the garbage down. Now the thing going to get dirty again the next day and the next day and the next day. So I sprayed it down. He tells me that I didn't spray it down and I got to clean this shit up some more. I said, man, who you talking to like that? I'm talking to you. And then I'm like, yeah, bro, you talking to me like that. And then I'm like, yo, I cleaned this shit up. It's clean enough for everybody, every other manager that works here. You're the only one that has a problem with this. He's like, I'm not any other manager here. So I shot the water hose at him and I walked out. Because I ain't with that shit. and then I got a job at
Wait, Paul. Wait, hold on. You can't just gloss over that, right? And so how old was you when you was working at this unnamed hospital doing dietary?
I was about 19, 20.
All right, so 19, 20. Did you learn anything from that interaction? Or did you just learn niggas ain't gonna be talking to me however they want to?
I learned that niggas not gonna be violating me and talking to me any kind of way. Talk about, you need to clean this shit up in this trash can, man. Like, I'm not about to stick and smear clean the trash can, bro.
All right.
And he used to put me on this job. Like, the job was a job where I had to leave last. Like, he got off at 8:30. I'm there till 9:30 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of the type of job. So I mastered the job. So I started getting up with everybody else. And I think he had a problem with it because he had to stay late. I don't know. That's some ignorant shit. I can't say that. But anyways, he didn't like how I cleaned this shit. But I know I cleaned it good because I had 3 managers. Anytime the other 2 managers was there, they never had a problem with how I cleaned it. I never cleaned it different for him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't clean it worse for him. It didn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cleaned it the same every time.
All right, so
like he could talk to me crazy.
So you was getting into to the next time. So what happened the next time? Or you said you was working at a big box retail store.
Yeah, I was working at the big blue and yellow company. But what happened? What made me say fuck them niggas? Them niggas started fucking with me because, again, I mastered my job. I made my job look so easy. Still like today. I mastered my job and made it look so easy. They started like putting me on other jobs, and I'm like, yo, y'all can't put me on another job, and I'm the only person in my department.
What department was that? What department was you working in?
I was in the photo department, so
Okay.
It's only me. Like, not all the time, but like sometimes, like that's our Christmas time, holiday season or whatever. It's me back there by myself. So they like, oh, well, we need cashiers up front. I'm not a cashier. Now I can ring out shit, but I'm not a cashier. You know what I'm saying? They want to pull me from my department where it's just me to the front to be cashier, call a nigga from electronics to run my department. It just didn't make sense. Like, why y'all can't pull a nigga from electronics to go up front and be the cashier? Why y'all gonna take me from my department and put another nigga who don't know how to run my department in my department when I'm the only one here? Y'all fucking up with the scheduling. Y'all fucking up, period.
Yeah.
So that happened.
So what happened? So what happened after they started fucking with you? Like, well, you just.
I started basically like rebelling. Like, I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there. And so and they never fired me, but they started fucking with me because one time, in electronics with the electronics employees, and we all talking. We all talking. The manager watching us. She watching us talk. So she comes over. She like, "What are you guys doing?" So everybody lied. Everybody except for me. And I'm not saying that because I'm a narcissist, but everybody lied. I lied. We over here talking. So one dude like, "I'm on register." Another dude like, "I'm in phone." Y'all remember when register and phone? And,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
right there? So one dude like, "I'm on phones. I'm on register." This other girl was like, "I'm zoning." Zoning is when you straightening out the shelves,
Yeah.
the products on the shelves. So she looks at me and said, "What are you doing?" I looked around and said, "I'm talking." Like I was watching people talk. You know what I'm saying? So she calls me in a back. She calls me in a back. Then it hit me with the, "Oh, what are we here for?" The customer and and I don't know, a bunch of bullshit. And I'm like, "Yo, man, I'm getting in trouble for telling the truth. I watched you watch us talk. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at you, looking at us talk, and you let everybody lie to you." So I started getting wrote up and all kinds of weird shit. So I started stealing, and then I quit.
Allegedly? Allegedly, you started doing that?
Nah, that's a fact. This is a fact. If y'all believe it, not a fact. This is a fact. I stole everything I could steal: iPads, cameras, video games, get video game systems, all kinds of shit.
Yo,
And then I got up out of there.
what's the craziest thing you ever stole?
Probably an iPad or
iPad. All right.
PlayStation.
And
I
what was
wanted to
you was
do
just
EDJ.
keeping them? What was you doing with them?
Nah, I had a whole plan, right? So you have your mans come in. You have your mans come in and you tell them go get some cereal, go get some groceries, big boxes like some noodles, some cereal. Then you come over to electronics and you buy one DVD. I'm gonna stick this iPad in a bag. You know what I'm saying? Because you got bulky shit, and this DVD is your escape plan. You know what I'm saying? So if anything goes off when you exit, then you got a DVD. They see you got electronics. That's all they was looking for at the time. I don't know what they're looking for now, but at the time, all they was looking for is if you bought an electronic. And if you
Yeah.
bought an electronic, then you're good to go. And you got that $5 DVD from that big ass bin, then yeah, that bitch might go off. And it never went off, but if it does, you got a excuse.
All right.
So then I quit, and then I went to work at another retail store, but it wasn't a retail; it was a grocery store. Sorry,
Okay. All right.
warehouse.
Okay. So the craziest thing you ever stole was an iPad. What's the like most pointless thing you ever stole?
Yeah, it was the pettiest.
Food. I stole food all the time.
Like
Uh,
what? Like cereal or like stuff from the hot, like the like chicken wings and stuff like that.
yeah, like the hot, the hot spot over
How
here.
you steal the stuff from the hotspot if the stuff from the hotspot is behind the counter?
I probably just gotta be low. I probably just took that shit and walked out off with it. Walked to the break room with it. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like that was probably
that's the move though. That's what I personally know somebody who every time we go into the grocery store, they walk over and get themselves a cheese Danish or a donut, a slice of pizza,
Pick up an apple,
and
just walk,
just
yeah.
walk through the store and eat it
eat that shit.
while we shopping. And I'm like, we get to the register, and by that time you done already crumbled it up, the paper, threw it in the
Right.
garbage, and your stomach is full while during your shop. So I mean
Check this out.
taking the food
I
ain't no big deal.
right. I know somebody who goes in there and get a whole sub and grocery cart and right out.
So let me ask you this, right?
Receipt, fuck a bag, fuck all that. Right out.
Let me ask you this. So as far as that place of retail, as far as that place, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being absolutely yes, 0 being no, or 1 being no, would you recommend anybody else to work there?
I mean, if it's beneficial, yeah. I mean, motherfucker need a job. Hell yeah, take your broke ass to work that retail and get a job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if not, I mean, like if that's not your lane and your path, then nah, that's not, definitely not my lane and my path. Like, all right, I start analyzing that shit because that shit wasn't doing nothing for me. So, I mean, I would recommend it to a person who absolutely needs something, but
Yeah.
not to somebody who's trying to grow past,
Yeah.
that
Right.
that part.
All right. So we got through all of the entertaining stuff, but this part is also entertaining, but it's a little bit more on a serious note. So I know you said after you left the big box retail store, the big blue and yellow, you went to
Mm,
a grocery place. But let's skip over the grocery place and let's get to how did you come up out of that? How did you glow up? How did you grow up? How did you progress past? Because obviously it sounds like you got a problem with taking advice and direction from authority. So what are you
nah,
doing?
I would.
Nah, you do.
No, I
Nah,
wouldn't
you
say
do.
that. I would just say
You just don't want niggas talking to you any
some.
kind of way. That's all.
Nah, I mean, yeah, that's true, but I also feel like, yeah, it's respect. You know what I'm saying? I don't
All
think
right. But so any
some of that be crazy.
what is it? How did you come up out of that? What did you do to elevate past that level? What are you doing now?
Oh man, I made a couple investments, and you know, I purchased a company. I bought some clothes, and I started selling some clothes. I bought a house. Started making some money on the house. And I made some wise investments to make my money come up, and it's all math from there.
Yeah. So multiple streams of income now.
Yeah, a couple streams of income.
And I've seen some of the merch, some of the clothes that you put out, and I've asked multiple times about not let me get one, but purchasing stuff. Still haven't
Yeah.
got no 2X's coming my way.
No, I got you covered. I got you covered. I just been working on some things, and I got the 2X's and the 3X's coming. I fucked up with that. I didn't put those in, and
All right.
I'm working on that. I got you.
Okay. So before we let you go, is anything that you want to tell the audience? Want to put your brand out there? You want to how we can contact you and anything like that?
Any words of advice?
Um, Hey man, the advice that I got is uh, stay motivated, stay dedicated, and just keep pushing. And support high quality people. Go to highqualitypeopleinc.com and it tells you everything that I do. And I got some merch on there. Go buy some merch. Support your boy. Um, and fuck that job. F that job, however you want to say it. Support my niggas. You know what I'm saying? They real niggas out here doing real shit. And yeah,
So that's highqualitypeopleinc.com. So
yep.
y'all make sure y'all go click onto that link, find out what my man doing, support the brand, get yourself some merch, and just keep up with everything that my man Q is doing.
All right. Thanks, Q.
You know it. Appreciate y'all.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, bro.
No doubt. Peace.
All right. So that was Quentin James of High Quality People, giving us some entertaining stories about the first and many times that he said, "Fuck that job."
Very entertaining to say the least, man. That was kind of, it's kind of crazy. But like I said, I know there's a lot of people who definitely are experiencing certain things like that. And there's a lot of, when you're younger, it seems like, his first situation was because he was like a little bit younger. He
Yeah.
just getting into the workforce. So, but I mean, that don't really take away from the fact that, hey, sometimes you gotta say F that job and move on to something else. So
For sure.
we looking forward to, hearing y'all stories, hearing what y'all want to talk about. So, next time, I want to hear it, man. I want to hear it all. I want to hear the craziest story though. I want to hear the craziest story. I've talked to people, outside of this, and they've told me some crazy stories. So I want to hear I just want to hear that one that I'm gonna have to go back to and listen to like 3-4 times. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell up in the corner to get them notifications. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and then under those posts, tell us those stories. We might hit you up in your DMs and ask you to come on, call on to the show, or come in person and talk to us about, you know, whatever the job situation that you ever you experienced in your life, the times that you said F that job, and whatever, however you came up out of those situations as well. All right. So remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff, and always remember to use your PTO.
And call in. But yeah, so check it out, man. Definitely use your PTO. Call in if you need to. And if they got you fucked up, F that job. F with us.
F with us.